Okay, now we're good. And we're live. Last time. So here we go. This is the reason why you do not want to cut off social media for your bar exam. You absolutely do not want to cut off social media for your bar exam because it is a dangerous practice. And I'm going to share with you why it's so dangerous. People are like running headlong into this accident ready to happen. And I'm going to show you what to do instead, because please don't set yourself up for this trap of cutting off social media right when it's time to study for the bar exam and thinking that you're going to be okay. All right. I've seen this happen. It is so sad when it happens. It ruins people's bar exam experience, and they're like barely holding on for dear life by the time that they get to the end of the bar exam study season. And it is so sad. Like, because I'm seeing people who were top of their class, doing everything right, and failing the bar exam because they followed this very bad advice. Now, it's from well-meaning people, okay? Like the people who have suggested it, your professors, your bar exam success coaches in schools, and those kinds of things. Like, they're well-meaning, but they are pretty much giving you the company line. And I'm here to give you the scientific reasons why it's just not a good idea and what you should do instead. So you're here right now to learn about why you should not cut off social media for the bar exam and what to do instead. So if you're here right now, go ahead and say hi. I'm so happy that you're joining us. I know most of you are going to be hopping in to watch the replay of this video, but that's great. I want to know how many people actually watch the replays. So if you're watching a replay right now, just go ahead and hashtag replay right beneath this video. Give me a comment, hashtag replay. And if you're here right now, go ahead and say hi. The recording of this video is February 13th, 2020, the day before Valentine's Day. And that is a big deal because, Valentine's Day is a thing. It's make it or break it for a lot of people. A lot of people, their whole self-esteem is hinging on what happens on Valentine's Day. And do you think that's healthy or not? I mean, are you celebrating Valentine's Day? What are you doing for Valentine's Day? Do you celebrate it? Yes or no? I want to hear below if you celebrate Valentine's Day, if that's a thing for you. Yes or no? And while you're commenting that below, I'm just going to pull up my notes here so I can make sure that I get you every single ounce of juicy goodness. Hey Naomi, I'm so happy to see you. Every single ounce of juicy goodness that I have waiting for you here as I teach you about what to do with social media instead of just cutting it off, right? No celebrating making wings and studying oil and gas law. All right, Naomi, I hear you. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing for Valentine's either. Sometimes, you don't have anybody that you're dating. And there's such a big to do about it that sometimes it could really hit you if there's nothing planned around Valentine's Day. So you let me know. Are you celebrating? Not celebrating? Let's all find our Valentine's Day buddy and be like, yeah, I'm not celebrating either. We're in this together. So, hey there. All right, Shell, don't freak out. But you know what? You're doing exactly the thing that I'm going to be suggesting for us later on. Like, you want to hang on to the end because I'm going to give you a tool that you can use instead of cutting off of social media. A tool that you can use that can help you stay sane and calm all the way through to the end of bar exam time. So you're going to want to hang on to this. This is your moment of reprieve. Give yourself a mental reprieve right now, Rachel. No need to, and tell me if I'm saying your name right. No need to freak out. So it's actually dangerous to cut off social media, okay? And if you stay on till the end, in the last tip, I'm going to actually give you a usable resource to help yourself through social media to get done with this bar exam thing, right? So yes, Rachel, not celebrating V-Day because the bar exam's coming up. That's one of those things when it comes to the February bar, right? And July too. I mean, no Independence Day celebrations. You got to study. But I hear you. But social media can be a saving grace in that situation. And let me tell you why. First of all, it's dangerous to cut off social media before the bar exam. And I'll tell you this. I'm going to explain it to you exactly Why? Right now. Facebook, billion-dollar company, right? They specifically hire psychologists, social scientists, people in that field that know how your brain works, how hormones hit, and the interaction of that with the technology, with social media. And they specifically design social media and they tweak it every time to keep abreast of what gives you, the consumer, a dopamine hit. Meaning they are applying science to manipulate the way our brain works when we interact with Facebook. They know what it takes to essentially get us hooked on it like drugs. Now that's just what it is, right? And if you've been using social media, chances are you're hooked, whether or not we want to acknowledge that. Why do you think people go on social media fasts? Do you ever have to fast from something that's not unhealthy? I mean, whoever fasts from exercising, whoever fasts from eating healthily, like we fast from things that are not good for us. So just the fact that people do that, oh, I'm getting off social media, I'm shutting down my account, I'm fasting from social media, tells you that on some level we know there's an unhealthy connection here between us and social media. Now, how does that play into your bar exam? Well, the advice that your professors and success coaches and people are giving you to get off social media and block everything off and that's just the party line. It actually hurts you to do that. Because what happens when you take away your source of dopamine hits and good feelings? Well, let's think about it, right? And if you're here joining us, just go ahead and say hi. We're talking about why you do not want to cut off social media right before the bar exam or to study for the bar exam. But let's talk about it. What happens if you've been in love and you're flying high and then things break off suddenly the person breaks up with you? You're going to go through withdrawals. You're going to feel pain, right? What happens when anything good is suddenly taken away? Your well-being plummets. Okay? Your well-being plummets. Naomi, what have you been diagnosed with? Social media addiction? So when you cut off social media suddenly to go start studying for the bar exam, you immediately removed a source of scientific chemical gratification that you've been getting all this time, for years maybe. Does that sound like a good idea to do right before you start something so important as studying for the bar exam? It's not, dear loves, it's not a good idea to plunge yourself into withdrawal symptoms, right? And then how are you going to replace that? Please tell me. When you suddenly removed something that you've been chemically dependent on, what are you going to do instead in such a short space of time in order to stay mentally balanced so that you can do something that's actually extra rigorous as studying for the bar exam? Let me calm down now. I'm getting really riled up with this because when I see well-meaning folks who are already lawyers and who graduated and studied for the bar at a time when Facebook was not as scientifically tuned in to have you chemically dependent on it, those lawyers are telling today's graduates, cut off social media to study for the bar. And when I see that, my heart hurts because those graduates listen and they cut off social media and they're plunged into an emotional abyss, literally. Because there's a reason why we're hooked on social media. All those likes mean something. When you post something and you go back to look and see if anybody has acknowledged it, etc., all that stuff, that's where our dopamine hits come from. And that's why we keep doing it over and over again, like trained Pavlov's dogs. Okay? So here's the thing. If you've been doing social media all these years, right before the bar exam is not the time to stop, right? I'm going to tell you what to do instead to make social media a healthy part of your bar exam prep and even a supportive part of your bar exam prep. I'm going to tell you the solution right now. What I'm looking for right now is, first of all, I haven't seen everybody comment in on how they're dealing with Valentine's Day, because that's another source of dopamine hits versus depression that we're going to need to keep, even keeled and balanced on coming up to this February bar exam. And for those of you getting ready for the July bar, I want to ask you, were you planning on cutting off your social media? Cut off, don't cut off. Tell me, were you planning on cutting off social media? And if this is helpful to you, go ahead and throw me a like. And let me know, yeah, I didn't know this, and I'm glad I know this now, right? I want to make sure that you're always getting something that is helpful to you. And our last tip here is going to give you a usable resource to make sure that social media is an asset to your bar exam studying, right? And not like a detractor or taking away, right? So I'm going to check the comments that are coming in right now. And if you ever watch Black Mirror, I watch Black Mirror. And there's one episode called Smithereens, and it kind of explains, like, from the viewpoint of the person who created the social media entity on that show, that TV show. Like, the whole episode is about social media and somebody who died and etc. So the Mark Zuckerberg, equivalent, on that show, he's having a conversation, a dialogue with, this person who's, suicidal, etc. And he says to him, or explains to him, how the social media platform just ran away from him. It wasn't something, it didn't turn out to be what he originally intended it for, which was just to be a community. Now it's like there's scientists involved, and they tweak things to make sure people are chemically dependent on social media. And that's what keeps the social media growing and profitable and keeps them in business. And so they went to some lengths to explain what we already know in this fictional show. But if you ever watch Black Mirror and you watch the episode called Smithereens, that'll give you the example of what I'm telling you about right now. So here we go. The thing that I'm looking at the comments here for the live video, so I see everything's going great. So this is what you want to do first when it comes to social media, so that you don't end up in that place where all the reasons why people cut off social media is because, oh, I see people posting about their progress, about their questions, about their scores, and their simulated exams and stuff. And I don't need that kind of negativity in my life, they say. I don't need that, either they're looking at them with envy, or they're looking at people who are like, woe is me. And they just, it's like, oh, I don't need that hitting me right now. Here's the thing. If you have to run away from everything that's happening outside of you, you're never going to live. If you always have to run away from negative energy, that means other people get to control where you can and cannot go in this world. So what I will help you to do is build up your own reserves, so that not only can you handle whatever it is that's going on out there, but you have the confidence of knowing, I can step anywhere in this world that I want to go, because I control me. I control my emotions. I control my thoughts and my responses to what's happening in this world, and therefore I'm free. I don't have to run away or avoid things or avoid people, because at the end of the day, it begins and ends with me. You can do whatever it is that you do, but I'm in charge, right? And so one way to apply this to your social media forays is when you see somebody approach you or type into their status, oh, I'm doing so well with the social media, with the bar exam questions. I'm scoring a 95%, right? A lot of people look at that, well, shoot, I'm only scoring 45 in that area, and I'm doing so badly, and oh my goodness. No. Quick mindset trick, right? And I'm teaching you mindset tricks and things that actually work for you, that actually does change your life. You instead will say to yourself, if it's a good thing that they're having going on, this is what you do. In your mind, congratulate them and claim it for yourself. Claim it for yourself. Can somebody type that in for me? Claim it for yourself, right? If they can do it, you can do it. Thank you for showing me what's possible. The way the world works is nothing happens by accident. If it's coming in front of your eyes right now, it's a message. Right? So this person typing this in right now is showing me what's possible for me too. Great. Now, what do you do if somebody's typing in something negative? You look at that and you don't try to encourage them. Don't go down that road, because they are probably insistent on their limitations, and they will argue for their limitations and bring you down too. Don't worry about trying to encourage them. What's important is what's going on in between your two ears, right? And this is where we feel like we have to cut off social media, is because we relinquish control over our own thoughts and emotions. Maintain control over yourself, please, right? This is how we can do anything we want to do, go anywhere we want to go, regardless of what other people do or say or how they behave, because we maintain control over our own thoughts and emotions. And this is how you do it. Instead of arguing with someone or trying to lift them up while they're insistent on drowning, in your mind, send them your confidence. I know you can do it. I know you'll figure it out. I know that you will climb up out of this rut, because I see that for you. You are a perfectly capable human. As you speak, so it shall be unto you. So if you put out the positive confidence in another human being who is perfectly capable of climbing out of this rut, you receive those words for yourself as well. So you don't have to make their situation better in order for you to feel better. See them already successful. And that's actually practice for you seeing yourself already successful. Because I promise you, the reason why that person's negativity pushes your buttons is because low-key, secretly, you're feeling the same way. And that's why you're like, I got to get all this negativity out of here. Low-key, you're feeling that way too. So if you see somebody with their negativity, push out the positive confidence that you have in that person to figure it out, to get on top of it, to climb out of that rut, and to succeed at the end of the day. As you push out, you'll receive the same. It's that energy. It's all your energy. So whether good or bad, the posts that you see on social media can help you if you know what to do with them when you see them. Does this help you know how to process social media posts when you see them online while you're preparing for the bar exam? Let me know, yes or no, is this helpful? Please tell me what you're getting out of this. Is this helpful for you? Yes or no? Helpful, not helpful? Helpful, not helpful? And while we're talking about dopamine hits and processing things, with our own minds and hearts, I want to encourage you to apply a little bit of this knowledge to how you're going to be dealing with Valentine's Day tomorrow, right? Let it not be something that drags you down in the dumps, right? You get to control your thoughts and feelings and emotions about things. Okay, so that's the first tip I have for you on how to deal with social media in order for it to be helpful to you. This next tip, and it's the last tip I'm going to give to you, right, to show you not just how to receive what you're getting from social media and process it to your advantage, but now how to be proactive with your use of social media for the sake of your bar exam, okay? So we're going to get right to it. Thank you for letting me know that this is helpful and this makes sense to you. I love to get the feedback and to know that this is helping you out. I want to help you. At the end of the day, I want to make sure that you're okay. You may never, ever, ever climb into one of my paying programs, but I want to still make sure that you come away from anything that I put out here with something that uplifts you and helps you move forward to pass your bar exam, right? And then come find me when you're an attorney and you're all settled in and you're making your good, coins. Come find me then, okay? But right now, I want to make sure you pass your bar exam. Okay, so here's what to do to proactively use social media to help you, because we've already covered number one, you don't want to suddenly cut it off, because social media has been scientifically tweaked to be connected to your dopamine hits, your levels of feel good, to the point where it's like a drug that you're addicted to. So suddenly cutting it off will only plunge you into withdrawal. It'll plunge you into emotional abyss. You'll be scrambling around looking for something to replace it with and fix it with. And because you're doing something as rigorous as studying for the bar, it's not like you're just fasting just to fast from social media. You're actually going into something that's actually emotionally taxing. And then you're taking away something that was emotionally uplifting, even if it's kind of unhealthy, but it was making you feel good. Like, this is like double no-no. right? So this is why we do not cut off social media before the bar exam. And please, if you've got friends, refer them to this video. I'm actually going to post this video on my website. So even if they're not on Facebook, they can go see it. Or not in this group, they can go see it, because this is really important, guys. Facebook has been tweaked to affect you chemically. And if you suddenly cut it off, you are going to experience withdrawal symptoms. You are going to experience emotional lows, and you're going to not have all the tools that you had yesterday, emotionally speaking. You're not going to have all the emotional tools that you had yesterday to deal with this rigorous bar exam. So suddenly cutting it off is not helpful. Instead, learn how to process the stuff that you see online so it's not slapping you back and forth emotionally. Learn how to process negative things that you see and positive things that you see. And we covered that, how to do that in this video. So rewatch it if you're just hopping on. And finally, the last thing, use it to help you. And this is the big tip that's connected to resources that I have for you. Use the social media resources that you have to help you with the bar exam by simply, right, go find yourself bar exam support groups like the one you're in right now, and use them, interact inside of them to get the support that you need. Somebody just came in here yesterday or the day before in our private support group and said, hey, listen, I need some more MBE questions. I ran out and I'm not trying to pay $75 for another set, right? And there were people there that were able to lend a helping hand. Or come in and say, hey, listen, I'm freaking out. This is not working for me. And here we are able to coach you through this, right? So when you get to a place, and one of the things that I get a lot in our journey group and in the challenge, right? In our challenge, 5-day challenge, we have one coming up March 2nd for the July bar takers. One thing that people get out of it so much is being surrounded by other people who are going through the same thing that they're going through and realizing they are not alone. And that sense of community is key. This is one of the things that lifts you up and supports you as you go through this very rigorous bar exam thing, right? We need community. No one does this alone. So be proactive with how you use the internet and social media for your bar exam. You don't want to get into moan fests, right? But there are resources here. I'm here where you can reach out and get support and get help. And if you look through your LinkedIn feed, I'm always posting like positive memes and stuff that can move you in the right direction. There are other groups online as well. I know Brian Hahn, he's in this group, but he hosts a group called Make This Your Last Time. And in that group, there's a lot of talking about actual substantive bar exam stuff, what's happening there, right? And I love seeing the dialogue in there because people really care about each other. They really help each other feel better about things or move through. And so these are some of the ways that you can use the internet proactively to help you through bar exam time, especially if you're at home studying alone, if you're a non-traditional student, if you're retaking the bar, and you're not surrounded by a class that you meet up with every day or study group. And on that note, there are more tips on how to use socializing in a proactive way for your bar exam. A lot of people isolate themselves because they think it's going to distract them from the bar exam. In the 5-day challenge, I teach you how to use social interaction and connections to boost your bar exam scores. Right? So can we say no to isolation and yes to community, right? No to isolation and yes to community, okay? There is a way to use social media and social interaction to boost your bar exam. And the people that I see who are at the top and they fail the bar exam is because the one thing that really gets their engines going, they cut it off right before going to study and to go through those 2 months before taking the test. People who are socially driven, who are driven by having all eyes on them, all of a sudden became hermits, right? They listened to the other people that told them not to. They became hermits, and then it hurt them. It hurt them because that affected them emotionally, okay? So if you're here, you're watching to the end, let me give you the free resource, the tool that's going to help you boost your bar exam scores for July, right? If you're taking the July bar exam, you must look into our 5-day challenge. Inside the 5-day challenge, I not only teach you how to academically boost your study ability and your scores on the bar exam, how to perfect your retention and recall of information, how to make sure that your study schedule fits you as an individual, not those big old generic throw everything at you and the kitchen sink schedules, but creating a study schedule that's personalized to your needs, your academic learning needs, your scheduling needs, your family life and responsibility. I'm also going to help you to tailor your study season to cater to you emotionally so that you don't do, frankly, unwise things like cutting off social media when you are very definitely emotionally driven by your human connections. Like, why would you do that? So I'm going to teach you more of like what you learned today during our 5-day challenge. One of our days is specifically geared towards identifying what your drivers are, emotional drivers, be it community or other things, and telling you how to cater to that while you study so that you don't fall into the trap that a lot of bar exam takers fall into of suddenly doing things differently from how they worked for you in the past just because you're studying for the bar. And that's the reason why studying for the bar is so hard and you end up failing because you suddenly changed what was always working for you in the past. I'm going to teach you how to, like, sometimes we do what works for us just by accident because we have that time and freedom to just do a whole bunch of things and we don't really notice what works and what doesn't work. When it comes time for the bar exam, we're like, oh, it's serious business. Let me focus. And then we like drill in on doing it the way that our bar review course told us to do it, and not realizing that we've cut out some things that were essential to our well-being and thereby made bar setting harder for us. If you knew what was essential to your well-being, which will help you during the 5-day challenge, then you would know, let me not cut out these things from my life. I actually need that so that I can perform well academically. Come to our 5-day challenge and you'll get a short quiz to identify what those factors are that are essential to you, your personal self, not everybody else, but you specifically, and then how to work those factors into your schedule to make sure that you are at ease while you study. That's just one of the 5 days. Like, can you imagine what else we've got for you in there? So if you're here, I'm putting the link in below. You're going to want to go to my website, jenniferduclair.com/challenge-registration. So I'm going to put the link in right here. And I know it looks kind of funny because I'm typing in while we talk. But if you're here right now, you're going to want to hop into this challenge to get yourself mentally and logistically prepared for July bar. And I highly recommend that you send your friends over to this link as well, or tell them to just watch this video so that they can get like the lowdown, the scoop on why they should not be cutting off social media for the bar. So if you're here, I want to thank you so much for sticking with me to the end and watching this. Go ahead and leave a comment below and let me know, did you find all of this helpful, useful? And I'm really looking forward to seeing you inside the 5-day challenge, right? So as usual, as always, we will be here next Thursday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern time, to bring you more helpful things on what you need to know to balance yourself and succeed on the bar exam on the mental and emotional side, not just the academic. See you all next week. Bye for now.